My wife Julianne just came up with the idea one day when we were in a plane bringing us back to New York City from Duluth. I was mulling over game show ideas when she noted that there had not been a successful question and answer game on the air since the quiz show Scandals. Why not do a switch and give the answers to the contestant and let them come up with the question? She fired a couple of answers to me, 5,280, and the question, of course, was how many feet in a mile? Another was 79 Wistful Vista. That was Fibber and Molly McGee's address. I loved the idea, went straight to NBC with the idea, and they bought it without even looking at a pilot show. This is American TV show host, singer, and all around media mogul Merv Griffin's account of how the immensely popular game show Jeopardy came to be. The original daytime series debuted on NBC on March 30th, 1964, and aired until January 3rd, 1975. An impressive run to be sure, but the world hadn't seen the last of Jeopardy! A year later, a short-lived nighttime syndicated edition ran from September 1974 to September 1975. In 1978, they attempted a revival entitled The All-New Jeopardy! But it didn't have the staying power of the original series run. It lasted from October 1978 to March 1979. The next version of Jeopardy aired on September 10th, 1984. It's this version of Jeopardy that continues to run to this day. Although the series format remained ever the same, having contestants answer prompts in the form of a question, the latest edition of the series brought two key changes: the introduction of legendary host Alex Trebek and a new theme song to go with it. The theme song itself was an arrangement of the 30-second jingle that had played in the final Jeopardy segment ever since the series' first episode back in 1964. The song, composed by Merv Griffin, originally bore the title A Time for Tony, in reference to Griffin's son, for whom the song was meant to be a lullaby. For Tony, the song may have been soothing, but for Jeopardy contestants, this innocuous jingle meant the pressure was on, as they had only 30 seconds to write down their final answer, potentially change the course of the game in the last minute. As Jeopardy has aged, the theme has been updated to keep up with the times. Music director Steve Kaplan rearranged the piece in 1997, and Chris Bell Music and Sound Design updated the entire Jeopardy soundtrack in 2008 for the 25th anniversary. Though the sound quality has been updated over the years, the simple tune remains largely the same. Its wild popularity earned Griffin over $70 million in royalties, along with the Broadcast Music Incorporated President's Award in 2003, and the Best Game Show Theme Song Award during the Game Show Network's 2009 Game Show Awards special. That's right, in honor of the legendary Alex Trebek, we're talking Merv Griffin's Think on Cover Me. That's right. It's Cover Me, the only podcast that talks about famous songs and their many cover versions and compares them against one another to find out which one is the most Jeopardy. I'm your host, as always, Jay Cressy, joined by my answer in the form of a question.
Jeopardy. Yeah. What is Jeopardy?
What is Jeopardy?
Alex Mildenberger. That's who I am.
Mildenberger is Jeopardy. Alex. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. Doing pretty good. My voice is going up.
Good.
But I am doing good. It's true.
It is good.
But does that mean anything? To be good? Yes. I would say positive. Positive things. Is that vague enough? How you doing?
I'm doing all right, Alex. I'm dealing with a cat who just wants to be in the mix. You want to say something to the mic there, you little bitch?
Yeah.
No, she's trying to fight me. She's trying to get out of my grasp. She can fuck around with audio equipment more. All right.
Is this the cat that chews on wires?
Yeah, the one and the same.
All right. Well,
she's a handful.
You keep an eye on that. You keep an eye on that feline.
Yeah,
don't want to get your wires chewed.
In the zone here, I'll be able to spot her. Alex, we're talking about the Jeopardy theme.
We are talking about the Jeopardy theme.
Not the only Jeopardy theme, but the longest running one.
The Think theme.
Think theme.
That's been going on, like, it's been around since the 60s.
Yes, in 64.
And has been going strong, I guess. Like, I don't remember watching Jeopardy growing up. I think my parents watched it, but like,
yeah,
I knew this.
Well,
I knew this
omnipresent in culture at large.
Like, I remember when my brother was very young, and I was also quite young. He was humming it one time, and I think we said something about the Jeopardy theme, and he was like, "What do you mean?" I wrote that myself. Like, it's so It's so ingrained. Just he totally forgot where it came from.
That is incredible.
Yeah. I mean, he was probably like 6 or something at the time. He's like, yeah, I came up with that myself. And you're like, sorry, Jeremy. I think Merv Griffin maybe beat you to it by a couple decades. But that's just, yeah. That's just
Man,
how much it was in our mind.
I don't blame Jeremy for trying to cash in on it though. 70 million in royalties from the song alone. Forget the success of Jeopardy, the
Right.
television show that's
One of
been
the
running.
like 3 to 5 game shows that anybody gives a shit about, other than people who, I assume there are people who care about game shows like regularly.
Well, there's a whole network, the Game Show Network.
I know
But
there's
yeah,
the
if you're
Game Show
talking-
Network, but like of all the shows that they constantly try, like, I mean, what ones actually people care about? Like, there's Jeopardy, Wheel of
Yeah.
Fortune,
which is also Merv Griffin.
it's also Merv Griffin, Price is Right.
Price is Right. Who Wants to Be a
Who Wants to Be a
Millionaire? Had a
Millionaire?
good run.
Is it not going anymore?
I don't know. Regis Philbin also dead.
Also dead, yes, but he wasn't hosting it for a while, I think. But anyway,
No,
and
that's
like,
true. Yeah, he hadn't been on that for a while.
I'm struggling to think, like, maybe The Weakest Link,
Yeah, that one seemed.
but
to be,
definitely
like,
it's not on the same level.
just like I think that was like '90s game show zeitgeist.
Yeah, I only bring it up because it's definitely on these days because my parents keep talking to me about it because they've been watching it.
Is it having a comeback, or is it just like old episodes on the air?
Jane Lynch is hosting.
Jane Lynch is hosting.
Yeah. So
Reprising her role as woman from Glee.
exactly.
Yeah, that's interesting. I would never expect the Weakest Link to make a comeback.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of things are making a comeback. I think it's a lot of straw grasping.
Yeah, I suppose so. Eventually, you
so-
run out of good things to reboot, and you're like, well, we'll take a chance on this. At least people will recognize it.
Yeah. But yeah, like, did you ever watch game shows much?
I like some Who Wants to Be a Millionaire because just even the title itself, like Jeopardy didn't mean anything to me as a child, but Who Wants to Be a Millionaire was very clear.
It is. Yeah, it's right
Answer
there.
questions, make money. I remember one of the early episodes. It was one of the $100 questions was like, which one of these is not a Pokemon? And I was like, holy shit, I could have made $100 that day.
And of course, back then, you answer one question, and you're like, "Holy shit, I have $100. This is like more money than I've ever had at one point in my life."
Exactly.
And you're just out of there. Trying to think of other. I think there's one game show I'm not thinking of. I don't know. What I really liked. Okay, I never watched this one, but I like to watch old. It's I don't even know if it's a game show. It's like there's 3 people they bring in, and one of them is the real person, and you have to figure out which that is. Like, they're all pretending to be. One of them is a person who is not like famous, but like kind of prominent, and 2 of them are pretending to be that person.
Okay.
And you have to like ask them questions and figure out who the real one is. Because I don't remember what it's called. I watched a clip and they had Bob Moog on, and like everyone was so terrible. Like, no one suspected the real Bob Moog at all, and they were trying to ask him all these technical questions, and then they were like, "Oh, we got him with this," and they'd like say something that was just totally not true. They'd be like, "He said this word, but it doesn't make sense in this context," and be like, "That doesn't make any sense. So who do you think you are? You don't know what you're talking about." And of course, I know what Bob Moog looks like, so I knew which one it was. But
Right. I'm familiar with something similar to that. I don't. It might even be the same one, but where they would have like celebrities go on, and they weren't able to see the celebrities. Like the 3 contestants were blindfolded, but they were able to ask them questions. I remember Frank Zappa going on and them having just a real hard time with it. So they'd be like, "Are you a director?" He's like, "Yeah, technically." Like, "Do you play music?" He's like, "Yeah."
in a manner of speaking, yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of that, in a manner of speaking. And the other one I saw was with Salvador Dali and him just like not having the strongest grasp on English. So him having to like look at the host like occasionally and being like, "Yeah, maybe, I don't know what the fuck did they just say."
Yes, this was not recognizable people, so they didn't have blindfolds on or anything.
Right.
But it's
Seems
kind
to
of a similar
me
idea.
the game is called To Tell the Truth.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, that's what I got with Bob Moog Game Show.
Yep, that's gonna be it then.
Okay, buddy, let's not close my laptop on me. You gotta find a better place to be.
You need to make a small imitation laptop that the cat can play with.
Yeah, that's a
I'm
good
told
idea.
that works. One time the internet told me that worked. I don't know if it actually works. Never tried it.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, but Jeopardy, my primary association with Jeopardy is in school. Whenever a teacher kind of wanted to take it easy and like make you guys study, it'd be like, we're gonna do just basically a pop quiz, but you have to form your questions or form your answers as a question.
I feel like I agree. We would do like the Jeopardy theme and it would be a quiz or something. But I don't think teachers I had ever like went through with the question format. Like they would just be like, here's a question, you answer it. Like it would be normal quiz. Just trivia.
Oh, they would start. I always felt like in mine they would start and they're like, come on, you phrase it as a question.
And then it
And
would just
eventually
fall
they just
apart.
fucking gave up
Because no one has Alex Trebek's like just drive to be like, please phrase it as a question. It's a lot harder job than it seems.
Alex, we were talking. I was cut off by technical difficulties on this, and we were talking about using Jeopardy in school for quizzing students, and how nobody has the authority of Alex Trebek to insist people.
Yeah, I mean,
Answer
no one has
important
the actual authority. Like, it's not been entrusted to anyone else. Not in a long time, anyway. And it's a tough job, apparently. Like, it seems simple, right? But especially with kids, and they're just gonna say whatever they want. And like as a teacher, it's probably not a good idea to be like, you technically got it right, but no, you didn't say what is first. Like,
Exactly.
like there's nothing on the line at all. You're just being a jerk.
Yeah.
But they gotta respect the format.
Exactly right. Well, that's the other problem with the format is like it really just boils down to putting the phrase "what is" in front of any answer.
Yes, and I mean, if you play along with Jeopardy, and as far as I can tell, it's impossible not to, because I mean, I've watched Jeopardy, and every single time, after a couple minutes, people start shouting out questions, but like also the way that like they phrase it as an answer, but also it's a question. Like it's obviously a question. Like there's such long answers, and the question's like, "What is 3?" And you're like, that's so general. Like there's so many possible answers. You just have, but because you have to work backwards, you have to put a lot of information into the answer.
Yeah, it is. Flawed in some ways, but for 1964, I mean, that's a knockout concept.
Yeah, I guess. And it sounds like it was kind of a quick thing. Like it's such like a, hey man, what if a quiz show like gave you the answers instead of the questions? Huh. Like it'd be such a thing that you'd think of and then be like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool, and then never bring it up again. But Merv Griffin had the resources, I guess. He knew people.
Yeah, he's like been in media
Yeah.
since he was 19. He started out as like a big band singer and then started doing TV show hosting, some game show hosting, talk show hosting, late night hosting.
Media
And then
guy
Yeah.
on the TV.
Big man, TV man, Merv Griffin. Alex, before we get into talking about this very short, literally 30-second piece of music, do you think you'd do good on Jeopardy?
No. No, I choke for trivia. I'm like, oh fuck, no, I know this. Fuck. And then the time's up. Someone else has answered.
Actually, yeah, I can attest to that, having had you on our bonus segments.
Yep.
But the stakes are nothing.
The stakes are nothing. Yeah, as soon as there's stakes, I'm like, shit, who was the guy in the Matrix?
Lawrence Fishburne.
Starts with a K. His last name is Reeves. I don't remember. I can't think of his name. Just can't think
Chris
of it.
Reeves, baby.
That's it. Fuck. Yeah, that's me in trivia. I remember in the 8th grade, I choked in some trivia, and it was a simple question. It was, what is the name of our solar system? No, not solar system.
Like our sun?
Our galaxy.
Our galaxy.
And I like hit the buzzer, and then just immediately, like, because I was like, of course I know that. And then when I went to talk, I was like, shit, what's the answer? Anyway,
Right.
So that affected me deeply, and I avoid trivia now.
Because of that.
Well, no, probably not
Did
actually.
you just shout out the
but-
name of like the wrong chocolate bar? You meant to say Milky Way. And
I was like, Three Musketeers.
Musketeers. That's pretty good. I'm glad we both thought of the same chocolate
Yeah,
bar.
me too.
I think I would be able to do okay on Jeopardy, but like on the low budget questions.
Yeah, I also think, like, as far as I know, the way it's kind of set up is the first, like, they'll ask a question or answer, I guess, and even if you don't know the question, like, I'm just gonna say question and answer. You'll ask a question, and even if you don't know the answer, like, if you don't know what to say, if you know, like, one thing about that thing, you just pick the first noun that you know about that, and there's, like, a decent chance that will be the answer.
Yeah, hey, there's some good game strategy. Write this down, folks.
Yeah.
You're gonna appear on Jeopardy.
Like, they'll ask some specific question about, like, what city in Africa, or, like, South Africa, let's say,
right.
has this thing about it. And if you say Johannesburg, like, you're probably right, because it's either going to be, like, Johannesburg or what is the other one? Cape Town? Like,
right.
Like, those are the ones, like, it's not going to be some other obscure city that you've never heard of.
Right, you're thinking lowest common denominator, like trivia. Like, somebody should be able to get this off the street. Depending on the street.
Yeah, exactly. If it's a street in Johannesburg, yeah.
Oh, for sure. They'd be like, oh, yeah, it's Johannesburg. That's where we are. Why are you asking me this? Alex, let's fucking do this. I'm stretching for space here just because, like, this is going to be a tight episode. The Jeopardy theme.
Jeopardy
Not
thing
always
theme.
the Jeopardy theme, but as long as we've been alive, it has been.
Yes, no lyrics. At least not in its original form. There have been, as far as I can tell, a couple attempts to give it lyrics.
Yeah, one of which we'll be discussing
One of which
today.
we'll be discussing. The other one, I didn't actually look up, but I think might be in Third Rock from the Sun. Yeah, but I didn't watch Third Rock from the Sun. I'm just looking at TV tropes.
I've watched that show in its entirety some years ago when it came to Netflix. Pretty good. 3 out of 5.
Sweet.
Do I remember any specific bits about the Jeopardy theme? No.
No. All right, so
No.
the theme itself. In its original form, in the 1960s to the, I guess, late 70s, it is played on the Celesta.
Celesta? What is that?
A Celesta, it's basically someone took, it's like a glockenspiel, like a big glockenspiel.
Right.
But you put it inside a piano, and you play it with piano keys that little mallets hit the bars, the metal bars.
Okay. Yeah, I'm looking
so
at some
I
pictures of
think
that.
we have discussed Celesta without calling it that. We've been like, it sounds kind of like a big glockenspiel. I don't know. Or maybe a piano of some kind. Yeah, turns out there's a piano with a glockenspiel inside. It's called the Celesta.
Called the Celesta.
So
yeah, and that's doing that melody pattern, the dun 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 dun.
Yeah,
dun,
so it's
dun,
very
dun.
tinkly and high. High pitched because it's these metal bars and it's ding 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 and it's got that metallic feeling.
Yeah, and then that is accompanied by I think it's a metronome, or is it a wood block?
I don't know, something like that. It sounds like a clock ticking, basically.
Yeah. Some later versions do have, I think it's replaced with a wood block that somebody's hitting, but yeah, it sounds like a clock ticking.
Yeah, it's also like this recording's pretty old, so it's kind of hard to tell exactly what it is.
Yeah. And then since it's the 60s on this original one, you do get just like a guitar playing chords.
Yes, it's like a soft kind of acoustic guitar. Playing like Is that in the first half?
Yeah, that's like right off the bat.
Oh yeah. Sorry, there's two halves basically. I'm jumping to the second half.
It's the are you saying like the difference being the and the end where it's are you talking about the fact that that whole thing is repeated twice?
Yes, basically there's two halves because Most of
Right,
it's the
'cause
same, but there's like it's like 15-second loops basically.
right. So there's the first 15-second half and then the second. Yeah, okay, I follow you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually most of the versions are gonna work that way, where they'll do it in sections of just this short melody,
Mm-hmm.
which is played on the Celesta in the original. At least the
Yeah.
first time, because the second time around it brings in like some brass and stuff.
Yeah, and then they actually sneak it in on the end of the first phrase there when we go to the sort of breakdown point. Dun, 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 dun. There is a little bit of horn action there.
Yes, kind of foreshadowing, all these
Yeah, easing us into the
next
sweet
part.
sounds of brass.
That ending part, I always call it the turnaround. I don't know if that's actually a musical term.
Hmm.
That part always reminded me of like I'm a Little Teapot.
Yeah,
Dip.
I was like, I actually just had that moment before we were recording. I was like, tip me over and pour me out.
That's
like, oh,
that
fuck,
is always what plays in my head for this
yeah.
song, and it has
Alex,
for
in
actual decades.
Yeah, for literal decades. Now, Alex, in jazz, a turnaround is a passage at the end of a section which leads to the next section.
Oh, son of a bitch.
This next section is most often the repetition of the previous section or the entire piece or song. So you had that perfect.
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a turnaround.
That's exactly what it is. It's a turnaround.
Nice.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
sure I learned that at some point. Like I must have, right? I didn't come up with that on my own.
Right. Yeah, it's probably just lodged in your head from something.
From something. I don't know. Anyway, so there's this turnaround. And then that's when they sort of start to introduce elements from the next part. And then it's just back into it again. They do it again.
Yeah.
With different sounds.
Brass focused.
But even that, it's kind of like an airy sound, too. Like, it's not a really sharp brass or anything like that.
Yeah, I almost thought it was a woodwind.
And it might be?
Yeah, I'm a little undecided on that.
Because I was thinking brass before, but it's kind of too soft for that.
Yeah, I think if you hit that high note around the 20-second mark on the video that I've been using, it goes up high, and that's got a kind of woodwindy sound to it.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what it would be. Woodwind is probably the class of instrument I know the least about in terms of sounds, like being able to actually tell them apart. Because I can sometimes be like, yeah, that's a trumpet. Yeah, that's more like a low tuba kind of. But like with woodwinds, I'm like, does a bass clarinet go that high? Maybe, because it's not super high.
I can only identify when a Jethro Tull song is playing. I'm like, it's a flute.
Yeah, but and also like, I think it's too low for a clarinet, but maybe not. Like, fuck, I don't know.
Yeah, I really couldn't tell you. But that is taking the lead on this section. It makes for a sort of, a bigger repetition of the phrase. And then we come to the turnaround again, except it's just a full stop this time. So I guess it's not a turnaround on the second go.
Yeah, do they stretch it out a bit in the original?
Yeah. Dun, 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 boom, boom. Those two big tom drums at the end.
Yeah, boom, boom.
And those will return repeatedly.
Oh,
I think
yes,
this is the only version where the drums do an ascending pattern, though. Boom, boom. Usually the ones after this will go boom, boom.
I didn't even notice that.
Kind of neat.
Yeah, it does, because it's boom, boom.
And that's it. Like, this is the original version of this played in the final Jeopardy from 1964 to, like, throughout the 70s, basically. What do we think about this, Alex?
I mean, it's so ingrained in my brain. It's such like a fundamental thing.
Right.
It feels weird to judge it. You're like, what do you mean? Is it good? It's the Jeopardy theme. There's like it does its thing exactly. Like it was invented for that. It almost seems like someone heard the song and invented Jeopardy around that. Like it fits. You can't separate the two. At least not in my mind.
Can you imagine being Merv Griffin's son and this is what you have to fall asleep to? How different do you think the lullaby composition was to what we hear on Jeopardy?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty calming, other than the clock ticking sounds.
Right, yeah, you take that out and then do like a more soothing instrument maybe than like woodwinds and brass.
Yeah, because I mean,
But
but
those
it's
big long
smooth
holds. Yeah.
and it's short, and we already said it sounds like I'm a Little Teapot, so it's like child friendly,
Yeah.
and it's just kind of it's like soft, and I guess it's inoffensive, but it's, and I don't know if it's iconic just because it's been played so much, like you just hear it over and over and over again.
hmm
It's hard to say. Like it seems to fit so well, and maybe it's just maybe anything would. And it's just
Maybe.
that Jeopardy is so iconic that it has been sort of catapulted into this role as this iconic tune.
And that's the other thing is it's so inseparable from Jeopardy that it's hard to say whether like Jeopardy without this would be successful or like what is really the successful part of this.
Yeah, well, I would definitely say if tomorrow Jeopardy just said, "Hey, we're changing the think theme." Also, it's probably too early and tasteless to say this kind of stuff because, Alex Trebek just died. But let's when they just if they decided to change the think theme, it would be kind of shocking, and it would really seem like they were stretching. It really seems like the kind of thing they would do if they were like losing ratings and they were like, we got to change up the think theme. Someone get some like music the kids want to listen to for 30 seconds.
Yeah,
Like
they're
I
like
don't
our
know.
new Jeopardy host is PewDiePie, and the new theme song is going to be composed by like it would be something that they think the kids listen to, but like don't like Dead Mouse or something.
Right? Yeah. Something electronic and modern.
I'm like, and they'd actually relaunch the all new Jeopardy from
The all new
from its
Jeopardy.
1978
I mean,
version.
that said, I mean this theme has been playing. Nah, I guess the theme's not totally tied to Alex Trebek. But yeah, I don't know. Is it good? I don't know. I know it's as about as iconic as something can be, I think. But also very much tied with what, the show Jeopardy.
Yeah, and you're right. Like, is it tied to Trebek in the same sense that Trebek is like indelibly tied to Jeopardy? Like, yes.
Yeah.
Like since 1984, from 1984 to the end of 2020, they have enough episodes apparently with Alex Trebek to last until Christmas, or just after Christmas. So that's what is that? How many years is that, Alex? I'm 36 years.
36 years, yeah.
36 years of this like institution. How do you even move forward from there?
They're gonna have to. I mean, I think they probably will. I mean, I think we kind of said the same thing maybe about The Price is Right when Bob Barker retired.
Oh yeah.
It's like, what do you do?
Do you think Drew Carey's
Carey.
gonna do Jeopardy too?
Yeah, maybe. I guess we'll find out. Is
Yeah, I
Pat
suppose
Sajak still doing Wheel of Fortune?
Pat Sajak. Do you think they'll make him do double duty?
He doesn't have the temperament for Jeopardy.
No, he doesn't. He's 74 years old. He's still out here. He's best known as the host of Wheel of Fortune.
WAF, we call it.
Yeah. He returned to work on December 5th, 2019. So yeah, I assume he's still working
To this day. He hasn't
To
left
this
work
day.
since December 1st, 2019.
Yeah. Way to go, Pat Sajak. They should get. I don't know. I don't even know who would be a good Jeopardy host. Alex, do you got any hot picks?
Who would be a good Jeopardy host? I feel like the way things are going, they'll probably at least first try to get a comedian. Be a comedian who is known for being maybe a bit smart, or at least acting smart. Or maybe not. I feel like everyone always said, like, I would always read things where they'd be like, people would ask Alex Trebek how he knew all the answers, and he'd be like, well, I have the answers right in front of me. Like, so, like, I don't know if he was, like, a smart guy, or if he knew a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, or if he was just good at reading
Yeah,
and
because like he was
speaking
just
clearly.
presenting and they made it easy for him. Really, because
Yeah.
he had all the information in front of him. But like, would they need someone who's specifically associated with intelligence? And was he specifically associated with intelligence ahead of time? The point I'm trying to get to is I think they're gonna go for John Mulaney.
John Mulaney, that's a good call. I'm looking at 26 comedians who are smarter than you think. First one they got, or probably smarter than you, is the name of the article. First one is Weird Al. I think that'd be a good choice.
That would be pretty interesting.
You think maybe they'll just
I
do
think
like
they
a
would go
run
for
of
someone
like
younger
guest
though.
hosts?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know what their like filming season is. Do they just go year round? Like what is
Yeah, it's like 5 days a week.
That's a pretty regular job.
Yeah, I think that's correct. I read it was on Alex Trebek's Wikipedia page. It was like 46 filming sessions per year, and presumably you're not just doing one episode of Jeopardy per recording night. So
Right. Yeah, because they have to bring in changes of clothes, I think, because you do more than one. Like if you win, you need to go on the next week or whatever,
yeah,
or the next day. Then you like you need different clothes to make it seem like it's not the same day.
all this to say, Jeopardy.
Jeopardy. Still.
Let's talk about more Jeopardy.
Yeah, let's talk about some more versions.
So this is version 2. I don't have a year on this. If I had to guess, so
I believe this
two,
is the
one-
97.
You think this is the 97 Steve Kaplan version?
Yeah, because I actually have a different. I should have sent you this link.
Mm-hmm.
It's similar to the video you sent me, but it's better because it has a few more versions, which is whatever. It's for Jep and Jeopardy Sports, but yeah, they're all separated and they are labeled as well. I sent it to you.
Okay. Excellent, Alan. I'm so glad you sent it to me.
Yeah, I forgot to send it to you yesterday.
Well, that's no sweat. We were busy watching The Avengers, but
It's
not
true.
the one you guys are thinking of.
But maybe not.
It'd be very weird if they were thinking of that one. So then you've been using that one, but you're still covering the versions that are in this.
Yeah, it's all the
video.
same versions with more and one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, if there's some particularly notable more ones, you let me
There's
know.
only one. We'll talk about it.
Okay, that is good. So now we're moving on to Think 1997.
Yeah, so there's two 1997 versions.
So yeah, they've differentiated them as one being piano and one being trumpet. Yes, that is how I recall them in my head.
Yep. Yeah, I'd made sure that there was the same versions covered in both videos.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, this is piano and bass off the bat here, and as well the clock noise.
yes, it's like tick-tock. This sounds much more like a tick-tock.
Yeah.
And the other one does, but this seems like they're trying to actually make it a clock. So this is like basically the piano's playing the melody. It's also playing chords, and then yeah, there's bass.
Yeah, dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, still get horns near the end of the phrase at the turnaround.
And then like the second F's also piano. Like it's
Yeah, just like bigger. Is it 2 pianos maybe?
they could have double tracked it. They could have a second piano. They
Double-tracked
could
it.
just be hitting the keys harder.
Yeah,
I
but
mean,
it really is like very simple.
yeah, and it does sound like a second half.
Yeah.
You know, like it. I mean, a lot of this is. Excuse me. A lot of this is just like a more elegant version of a timer. You know, because I guess that's the other thing about it being so iconic. Everybody knows, or it's a lot easier for people to tell if you're playing how much time is left. About, like, not exactly, but get a sense of it because you know how long the song lasts and you know what it sounds like when it's over.
Yeah. It's yeah, like because it is meant to be 30 seconds exactly. Each portion is 15 seconds long, and you hear the change up in what's being played to mark the two important occasions: the 15-second mark and the "you're almost out of time" mark.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. This is just musical timing, timering,
Timering.
Tim Tam timing. Yeah, three big drum beats on the end on this one, and they descend rather than the doom doom.
Boom, boom.
And then that moves us into the 1997 version with trombone.
Yeah, which
or
starts
trumpet,
very similar. The first half is the same,
Yeah, it's like the exact same.
but then they've decided to. They're still like in the other one. That trumpet comes in at the midway point,
Mm-hmm.
and this one it just stays around, like that happens
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, so it hits very similar to the original version's second half.
And of course, keeping with the like kind of chillness of this tune, it's kind of like both chill in its sound and also a bit unchill.
Oh yeah, you get these like
Because
sort
of the
like,
tick-tocking, I think. That's
yeah,
a little bit more like hectic and reminding you that you actually have to do something and you don't fall asleep.
yeah. And then when you get to the final like turnaround section, there's a little bit of more ugly horn noise going on there.
That's your like alarm.
Yeah, it's like get it together, dipshit.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that's still trumpet, but I guess it's just a different playing technique.
Yeah,
When you get the like, I'm thinking of like a
doing it
mute,
dirty.
but I don't know. I don't think that's what does that. You like, when you put the thing on the end of the trumpet, and you kind of go like wow wow.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if that's it, but that's a thing that exists.
It is, Alex. It is. So that's versions 2 and 3 here. The 1997 one's very similar. Do you think people complained about the first like remake? They're like, we want the horn back. Give us that trumpet.
I don't know, man. I mean, people do complain about a lot of things. The other thing about this version is like in quality, it's so like 90s television. Like you can tell. I don't know why. It's like, but it's there. Like it's sort of higher fidelity than obviously older stuff, but there's definitely a lower qualityness to it. I think this is what vaporwave is, like ultimately. But like
this is definitely within the area of vaporwave, if
yeah,
not directly.
like this level of quality and recording style.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
it's
so to
pretty
compare
vapor.
this to
That's what I'm saying.
the original Alex. What's more Jeopardy?
What's more Jeopardy?
Yeah,
I mean, the original theme I never heard.
true.
So this one I probably saw. Like this is probably the first version I was exposed to because I would have seen Jeopardy between 1997 and 2008 for sure. Like I didn't watch it regularly, but every once in a while, or like if an event, like who's the guy, Ken something? Ken from Jeopardy.
Ken from Jeopardy. Oh yeah, well, one of the longest running Jeopardy like runs.
Yeah, Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings. There you go.
Like I remember that happening. It wasn't like that big a deal, but it was like it was a deal, I guess.
Yeah, people are like, oh,
because like suddenly people started caring about Jeopardy and would like talk about it. Adults, right, would talk about it when I was at school or whatever.
Oh yeah.
And it was like, cool, yeah, he's doing good in a game show that I don't watch. That's great.
You're like, awesome.
I don't remember exactly when that was. He's great at asking questions. And yeah, and I also watch it when my Oma came over. She would always watch Jeopardy and Wheel of Fortune. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, this one is closer, I suppose, just by benefit of when I was aware of Jeopardy, which was not in the 60s or 80s or 70s for that matter.
Yeah, I don't remember the 70s at all.
I feel like the 60s version really encompasses the spirit of the original concept of Jeopardy. Oh, what a novel concept. We'll ask answers and be answered with questions. And here's a simple tune to make you wait. And it's like, it's very,
Yeah,
like, okay, yeah.
we don't like
And then
show a clock or anything. We just play a song.
this one is like the version once that scrappy idea got some money behind it and a little bit of clout. It's like, oh, now we're people come to Jeopardy. We're an American institution. We gotta class it up with a little bit of piano, be a little more modern.
Make it seem a little jazzy.
My note on sort of the progression of these versions of Jeopardy we're going to talk about, and these are all the official versions. We're going to talk about some covers a little later, but these ones they do seem to grow with the way the show itself has grown to be much more massive.
Yeah.
There's a direct correlation. The first one's very small and simple. This one we're building in a little more, and we're going to start talking about the 2008 version, which might disprove my point. No, it's quite rich. I think we get a lot of stuff that comes in on the 2008 one.
Now are there two versions of the 2008 one in the other video?
There might be.
Cause anyway, this video shows version 1 and version 2, and I don't know exactly what the story is there, but version 2 is just like much clearer. It just sounds like remixed.
That is my note on my last two versions on the other video.
Yeah.
Is that the next one just sounds like a much crisper version with maybe some more stuff added in, but it might just be easier to hear.
Yeah, I think they're the same. I think everything was done. This is like all in studio, just redoing, because the 2008 version is pretty like muddy, and it's hard to pick things out. And that was kind of, even when I was taking my notes, I was like, well, this kind of sounds like maybe this kind of instrument, or like, do we have an orchestra now? Like, did we hire an orchestra to do this 30-second piece? I think so.
Hang on.
At least in the second part.
Yeah, give me a second here. Are these the same? Maybe. Well, yeah,
maybe not, because now I'm listening to the second version. And it's more piano based at the beginning. The first one.
Yeah, so I think maybe they're just flipped in order in the.
Maybe.
In this video, because I think they might be backwards to the one I watched here. Let me check. Here.
All right.
Some technical difficulties.
Please stand by.
Yeah. So yeah, the first I'm gonna talk about version 2 first.
Okay.
Yeah, we get this tinkly piano. We get a wood block instead of the metronome or the clock noise.
Yeah, and what they start doing in this one, the wood block is like half time in the first half, and then it picks up in the second half.
That's right.
Doubles up. So that's kind of the other indication of you're in the second half now, baby.
Mm-hmm.
Time's running out. You better Final Jeopardy faster.
Yeah, and we get this like big orchestra space like you were talking about on the second half. So they're like, we get some woodwinds coming in. I think there's a string section.
It certainly sounds like it. I mean, like in the turnaround too, there's like this flute like run up. That's kind of the lead into the second.
Oh yeah,
part.
that.
Yeah, exactly. So you start to get that, and there's like a harp that we hear more near the end.
And then a big bell at the start of the turnaround there.
Oh yes.
On the other one. Yeah.
And then
we
just a ton of more brass and strings and stuff. This is it's like a little bit more prestige. It sounds fancier.
It's like, yeah, motherfucker, you're watching Jeopardy.
We could afford to rent an orchestra for however long it takes to record 30 seconds of music.
Probably an hour. Probably rented him for an hour. Did the first 30-second take and told him to get the fuck out.
All right, get out of here. They're like, this is our studio. You paid for studio time.
That's goddamn right. It's our studio for the next 59 minutes and 30 seconds, so get the fuck out.
And, is there anything else here? Yes, this is what was called version 2 in the other video, and it seems a lot clearer. Because if we jump back to the other version, everything is like... It starts with, like, brass. And it's similar.
Yeah.
It does the same thing with the percussion, where it's slow and then fast for the second half.
Yeah.
But it's muddy. It's so much muddier. And I don't know if it's just different quality was available, like, because this is just a YouTube video, so I don't know where they got it from. Maybe someone in like 2009 recorded it off their TV or something. I don't know. Is there an official version like that's been uploaded? I don't know. I don't know where this is coming from.
Nobody knows, Alex. It's impossible to know.
But this seems to be, for some reason, lower quality version. Even though, as far as I know, they didn't like redo it or anything.
Yeah, it's just like you said, it's muddier. There's not really like a leading instrument to pick out. Yeah, there's just better like separation of the tracks on version 2.
Yeah, and even like the second half, as far as I can tell, is the same. That's when they bring the big orchestra in.
Yeah.
Similar lead in with those flutes and like the harp at the end.
Yeah.
Doing like a harp, whatever, sweep harp thing. You know, when you play the harp, you just sweep your hand across the harp and it goes.
Yeah. Yeah, I do one of those.
Yeah.
So that's the version of the Think theme from 2008.
To
that's
present.
All the official versions
yes.
I have to talk about.
Now there's one more, because this video has Jep, which I don't care about, has Rock and Roll Jeopardy, which I also don't care about. It has Sports Jeopardy, which I also don't care about. But if you go to the very end, the very last one is the greatest of all time, which is like very recent. So they brought back Ken Jennings and some other people who did very well on Jeopardy.
Right.
And this is like the most modern version.
Because it's in space.
Because it's in space. Yeah, this is like, there's 16th note synthesizers being like, and like, the piano is very echoey. Sounds kind of fits in with that synth sound. Yeah, it's very like space age, not really, but kind of.
Super Jeopardy Galaxy.
Yeah, Super Jeopardy, exactly. This is Mario Galaxy music. And then kind of again plays this on the piano with like this synthesizer, and then right at the end, just everything like for the turnaround, they bring in that orchestra, like just big orchestra.
Yeah, and we also hear a rocket ship take off.
Yes, there's a huge like explosion sweep sound. And then now we've got this like trumpet leading. But whole brass section still got the synthesizer, and like there's big like percussion crashes and stuff happening. Like this is the biggest version. This is a pretty exciting version, quite frankly, compared to the other ones.
It's a Jeopardy celebration, right? This is the greatest of all time.
Yeah, so like, this one's pretty intense.
Hell yeah.
And that's what they wanted. They wanted like the Jeopardy exciting theme. They already know that these people are good at the game. They don't need to ease them into it.
Yeah.
They can just play the exciting
Jeopardy
stuff. Get everyone revved up for the climax.
They have a show called Rock and Roll Jeopardy. Do you think they couldn't get the rights to Def Jeopard?
It's also like, I mean, it's, if you listen to it, it's definitely old fashioned. It's like on the guitar and it's very
yeah, buddy.
Yeah. It's like light rock and roll Jeopardy.
Oh my god, that's great. Okay, Alex, before we move into some of these cover versions, we've discussed all of the relevant official versions. Alex, you're flicking on Jeopardy on the TV. What version do you most want to hear?
I'm really digging this greatest of all time version, quite frankly. I know it
Yeah, that
wasn't
one's got
really
a
on the
lot of.
list, but I'm really digging that one.
No, I'll let you have it because frankly, it was 30 seconds long. It was pretty easy to analyze.
Yep, yep.
Yeah, that one's dank. For me, I think it's version 2 of the 25th anniversary one, the 2008.
Just the better sounding one. Yeah, that's probably my runner. I mean, like they got better. Like as time went on, there were clear limitations on the early ones. You know,
Yeah.
like this was for TV. This wasn't a recording that they were releasing to sell or anything.
But I
So,
think the earliest version thrives in its limitation. I think it did a great job. I think maybe that very 60s sounding guitar doing the chords is like
right.
a little dated, but it doesn't come off quite as dated as the 1990s
Right,
versions.
because that's, I mean, and maybe that's just for us because we were around for that level of technology. So it's
Mhm.
not, I don't know, nostalgic isn't the right word. It's that like false nostalgia you get for something that you were just too young to have experienced. Like we used to really be into the 1980s, just
Oh
conceptually,
yeah.
and like we weren't there for the 80s. And anyway, so like that feeling that there's probably a word for. Um, no
Probably a German word.
nostalgia.
Ah, with a
Um,
little dash.
anyway, um, so we don't have that for that like kind of lo-fi 90s stuff. Um, so the 97 version just kind of is just a crappy version.
Yeah, I think it's not the best. It's still fine because it's a very simple song, and like we said, it still meets its main role, which is to time the final Jeopardy and also let you know you're watching Jeopardy.
Yeah, and if I hear that theme, I'm like, some watching Jeopardy? I mean, it's the Jeopardy theme, obviously.
It's the fucking Jeopardy theme. But yeah, I think that's a fair classification of the Jeopardy
Yeah.
theme history.
But like if I just heard cuz like that's the think theme anyway. Well, I guess I don't think we've said that. Have we said it's the think theme that plays during the final Jeopardy, which is the last question of the Jeopardy? I think you did say that.
Yes,
Yeah. I remember
I've
that
said
now.
it. We've said it several times, including in the intro. I think
Yeah.
we've covered it.
Yeah, cuz you did say that. I remember now. But like that's the end. That's not the beginning. So the song that plays when Jeopardy starts is not this, right?
Well, yeah, not just this. It has
It
like
has
a
this in
big
it.
build-up intro.
Okay, so I probably would recognize if this was part of it. But like other game shows, if I just heard like some random guitar playing, I'd be like, someone's watching TV. Like whatever. Like I don't know what it sounds
Yeah.
like when Wheel of Fortune starts. If you didn't, I think they might shout Wheel of Fortune. But other than that part, that's cheating.
Yeah, but if you miss that
Yeah.
and just starts playing some fucking jazz or
Like,
whatever, you're not gonna be like, oh, a Wheel of
someone
Fortune
watching
jazz.
some one of these newfangled jazz shows, smoking jazz cigarettes.
Hell
What's
yeah,
going
smoking
on,
jazz
Grandma?
cigarettes, watching Wheel of Fortune.
That's an afternoon.
That is an afternoon. Now, Alex, for these covers, I didn't bother looking at the years.
I just looked at the years in the like album they were in,
Okay. Did
but
you want to do them in that order? Would
I
that
didn't. I
please
didn't
you?
order them, so
I've just got them in the order of the playlist. Are
yeah,
we
I
cool
do
with
too.
that?
Yeah,
Excellent. Dominik Hauser. He's 2012. He's originally from Switzerland, earned a master's degree in music from the Jazz School in St. Gallen, Switzerland. He's a composer and also performs individual work. He's best known for his work on the film scores of Chronicles of Riddick in 2004, Aeon Flux and Into the Blue in 2005, and Assault on Precinct 13 also in 2005.
I think I saw Into the Blue.
Yeah, that Jessica Alba film?
Yeah. Wait, Matthew McConaughey in that?
Maybe.
No, it might not have been this. No, I don't think this was it. Anyway, yeah, he also worked on some like he's worked on a bunch of movies. He does like orchestrations. He's an orchestrator.
Yeah, he's an orchestrator.
Worked
He
on
works on a bunch of movies and TV. He worked on
yeah,
the Gotham TV series as an orchestrator.
yeah. Whiplash, the movie about
The
jazz.
movie. Yeah, Doc.
Yeah.
He's out there, and this is his version of Jeopardy, which starts off with some saxophone.
Yeah, and like a piano line being like ba, 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 playing some
Yeah,
chords.
straight up 4/4 rock beat on the drums.
Actual drums, notably.
Yeah, a drum set here. There is a bass on this, just kind of holding it down on the bottom there. And we get I think halfway through. Do we get a guitar that does some
Well,
muted
this
strumming in the
one's a
back?
full minute long.
Yeah.
Sort of. No, yeah, this is so. A flute comes in for the second repetition, and then in halfway mark. So for the third repetition, we do get that electric guitar.
That's right. And then the last repetition is kind of like everything going off.
Keep. It's kind of that like muted, like distorted electric guitar.
Yeah.
I don't love the sound of this guitar, but I don't know. Like what?
Yeah.
What happens in 2012 that Dominik Hauser's like, fuck, dude, I want to do a cover of Jeopardy theme.
Yeah, and he's like, it's really been missing this guitar, but only if it was to play for an extra.
Yeah, it's got to be double length. I don't know. These are all very strange to me because it's like, why? Why would you cover this?
Some of them I can understand. Like
some of them do make sense
later,
but
that makes a little bit of sense.
But like, who's this guy that he's releasing this?
Yeah, was he? I mean, he works in TV and film. Is this like a pitch? Is he like, listen, guys, Jeopardy? It's got to sound like this now. And they're like, no, Dominik. No, it fucking doesn't.
Sorry, Dominik, not this time. The other one this one doesn't have is TikTok percussion. It just has kit drums.
Yeah. This one's just like, I don't know, this is like a like talk show vibes, maybe? If you're like, this is the Jeopardy after Jeopardy show.
Yeah, but I could see this being on Jeopardy, but not in 2012. Like, this is older sounding. Like, this would fit in, like, late 90s, early... Like, this could be the 97 version, really.
It truly could.
But in 2012, it's a very strange time for this.
That's what I have to say about the Dominik Hauser version. Should we talk about TV theme band?
TV theme band. They're a band that covers TV themes.
Yeah, that's all I could glean, and that's only from their name.
Yeah. Because it's hard to Google search TV theme band because it's just it's a description of a thing. It's not the name.
Yeah, it's a category, not a proper noun.
I mean, the band is big enough that like you can search them, but if they were called a band or something, then like it would be harder to find. So that's what this is.
That's what this is. So this one includes the hype up intro that is part of the actual Jeopardy opening theme.
Oh, so that's where that comes from. Okay.
Yes. We get that on this one, and I think another similarly named band. Yeah. And this one's all buzzy, shitty garbage synth.
Yes, it's very buzzy. It's very buzzy. And like drums.
Yeah.
Real hype up intro. Really, really going for it.
Yeah, and those drums are either a drum machine, electronic drums, or both.
Yeah, I don't know. The whole thing it's hard to tell.
Yeah, this one's very like I don't know, I'd call it like sugary.
I guess, yeah. And I think part of that is there's like this like twinkling, shining sound effect that plays as well. I don't know if it's supposed to sound like money, like it's glinting coins or something.
Right.
Maybe.
Also,
this version's 2 minutes long. Ahead. It's like a couple of these versions are like over a minute, and that's a bit much.
Yeah, and like this one adds in again, similar to Dominik Hauser, we get guitar on this one at the like 1 minute and 20 seconds mark, so like way late into it.
Yeah, the other thing this has, you were talking about shitty. It has this like very. And this is right from the start, like overt, like, overt's maybe not, like harsh, like clav chords, clavinets of some sort. Just kind of not funky sounding, very just like smashing you in the face with clav chords.
Yeah, you're talking to like the 30-second mark, the other melody synth.
Not even like go to the 15-second mark.
Okay.
Right when it starts, and there's just the chords in the background.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Just being like. Anyway.
Yeah, that's rough. And then when we switch to after the first turnaround, we come to this, like, I don't know, what noise is that trying to synthesize, Alex?
I think a saxophone?
It sounds like shit.
It's definitely like an old synthesizer sound. And maybe it's trying to sound like the 90s or something, because that's when they watch this show. But like, it's definitely, it's a like crappy Casio sax 1 sound or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe sax 2, I don't know. Some sort of weird horn synth, but I think saxophone. And then they kind of trade off, and then they both play together, and then they kind of trade off. Actually, after their double verse, the synth plays one, and then the brass synth thing does 3 repetitions. 3.
Oh, Lord.
And it sucks.
It sucks hard.
This one's too long. Like, I feel like there was a quota they had to reach, and they were like, "Fuck, just loop it." Just
loop the Jeopardy theme.
A 15-second loop that plays twice. Just do it several times. And then it's 2 minutes and 11 seconds long. And they were like, "How long does that have to be?" 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Perfect. We're done.
We got it.
Let's go home.
It's another successful day for the TV theme band. With that, we're going to move into Cool and Classy, it's just baseball.
This one's also very harsh, and it's like, let's play it on an organ with like a long decay on the notes and like a lot of echo, so everything muddles together again.
And also like the kind of audience sound effects that come from like a Super Nintendo game.
Yes, but it also like I guess it's sports organ hits, but this isn't a sports organ song. It's just a song on sports organ.
Yeah.
I don't know. But yeah, very muddy version and like weird.
34 seconds, these guys get in and out. I could see this being fun to hear at a sporting event.
Yeah, I guess so. As you were like part of the cacophony, because that's apparently necessary for this version. People talking and stuff.
Yeah, it does raise the question, who is pulling up this 40-song, 36-minute album of sports organ?
I wonder if you play it at sporting events, if you like don't have... Oh, they have a version of Chelsea Dagger. That's weird.
Oh my god, Cool and Classy. I should have looked into more about this group. Their most recent album from 2014 is Cool and Classy take on best national anthems in the world.
Number 1, United States. Number 2, Canada. All right. China's in there.
Brother.
Russian Federation.
It is just like cheap MIDI files, I think.
Yeah, but it's also like it's not like they're all sports organ stuff. They just switch around the sounds being played for different songs.
That's it.
Yeah.
So they just ripped like a fucking sports organ package, and they're like, boom, let's fucking knock these out.
And yeah, they did. And
sure
it
fucking
exists.
did.
And it's...
Let's talk.
I don't know why Cool and Classy is doing sports organ hits either.
That
because,
doesn't seem to be related to their name, does it?
Neither of those things. Like the picture, their like picture on all of their albums is a martini glass.
Yeah.
Like, what does that have to do with sports organs?
The world may never know, Alex.
I don't.
Let's talk about Mount Royal Orchestra.
Yes, this one was hard to Google because there's a Mount Royal school. You may be familiar. Mount Royal
What's
University in Calgary.
Hashtag Mount Royal alumni.
Um,
Hashtag the boys in blue. No, I don't think that's what we call ourselves.
so all my results were just for that.
Right. Hey, maybe if I look it up, I'll get something different because I'm not in Calgary.
It still knows who you are. So I wasn't totally sure who they are, but they do.
Nope, still Mount Royal.
Themes, instrumental TV hits.
Yeah.
And
this one's quick. It's 30 seconds, and primarily it's on the piano with some bass and then the clock noise.
Yes, and then the saxophone comes in the second half.
Yeah, and I could see this being fun. If you went to an orchestra and then just like maybe if one person's setting something up and the rest of the orchestra's ready, they just knock this out in 30 seconds. You're like, nah, that's fun.
Yeah,
Who says orchestras can't be fun?
When we saw Zappa play Zappa,
Mm-hmm.
did they play the Jeopardy theme briefly? Because they were having technical difficulties, and then they started just like playing music while they were fixing.
I think they might have.
And I think they like played the Jeopardy theme and then just like had a jazz jam of some sort. It's a vague memory. I only remember that old lady talked to us.
Yeah, that's primarily what I remember from that concert, even years later.
We were just like sitting on the floor, and this old lady came over and was like, "Hey, boys." We were like, "Hey."
Yeah, and she just like told us, she's like, "Man, I went to this guitar master class with Dweezil Zappa.
No one was as good as Dweezil." And we're like, "Yeah, he's a professional guitar player, I think."
We're like, "Yeah, that makes a lot of sense." Then she's like, "All right, have a good night," and then disappeared into the ether. Not even a real human being. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, we saw a ghost. That's why she was there earlier. She's always there.
She's always fucking there. Good times at the
McEwen Hall Ballroom.
That's it, McEwen Hall.
The University of Calgary.
Hell yeah. So that's what we have to say about the Mount Royal Orchestra version.
Yeah, there's not. Wait a minute. So here's what I thought.
Yeah.
Because they like both play. Like there's a saxophone playing, and then right at the end, the very end in the turnaround, it sounds awful all of a sudden.
Yeah.
It's just like gets shitty. And like I don't know what happened. Like is this also MIDI?
Might be. Cause yeah, there's some kind of like synth or something.
Yeah, they like suddenly just like make it bad. They're like, what if we just turn like that dial that says shit, like crank it. Like I don't know.
What's that dial do? Oh,
that dial
sounds fucking terrible.
Like, oh, cool. Let's do that. I'm like, I don't know why.
Yeah.
And it's right at the end. Like it would have been fine and passable, and then suddenly they're like, make it bad.
Make it real bad.
Make it annoying.
That theme of doing Jeopardy covers is that most of them are kind of just shitty because there's not much reason to do a Jeopardy cover, at least not recorded.
Yeah, also, it's a lot easier to have a strong opinion about the Jeopardy theme than some other stuff. Other stuff, it's like, oh, they're trying hard, and this is like, what? I don't know, it's the Jeopardy theme.
Yeah, you got 3 parts in the Jeopardy theme, and you've somehow fucked it up.
So, way to try something.
It's a children's lullaby.
Yes. Yeah, children's lullaby.
So yeah, we're coming to geek music now. Too fucking long, right off the bat.
Oh yeah, this one's also 2 minutes.
And they try to play this tricky. They give us the first 30 seconds kind of like low and easy. We get this wood block and some kind of Glock sound.
Yeah, could be bringing back the Celesta.
Yeah.
Definitely something with metal bars.
And then they bring in a woodwind, and again, we still just got this wood block, and that's our first 30-second rendition. But then they kick it up. They turn this thing the fuck up.
Oh yeah, they like put on some like drum kit. They add a drum kit. That was what I was trying to say.
Yeah. And then we get some piano coming in for the melody.
Yeah,
some
piano doing
big synth in the back.
And like orchestra stuff. There's flute. Possibly flute synth.
Yeah.
Because it kind of sounds
There's a possibility.
Later. Got that kind of like mellotron sound of not quite a real flute.
Mm-hmm. We get a guitar at around the minute mark.
Yeah, they really like build it.
Yeah, and then they flip it and reverse it as we come to the end. They strip it down.
Yes. So I think as far as I can tell, all it is like there's a few different changes. And there's like 6 repetitions of that with like adding things and building. And then for the last 2, they do the sort of second rep and then the first rep in reverse order.
Yeah.
Or in the order I said, which is reverse order.
Yeah, so and I as much as it's still too long. Of all of the too long versions we're going to talk about today, those guys at least tried something with it. They're like, "Hey, what if we build up and then
Yeah, they're
back
like,
down?"
if we're gonna do a 2-minute long version of the Jeopardy theme, we might as well have different variations because it's still a 15-second loop, pretty much.
Yeah. So kudos to them for
Yeah.
having the ambition, I guess.
Yeah,
But
I suppose. I guess the other thing to note about this one, we implied it before, but to make it explicit, the first couple repetitions have that clock tick-tock, and then when the drum kit comes in, it goes away, and then it comes
Right,
back.
yeah.
When the drum kit drops out at the end, it comes back.
yeah. That's geek music, baby.
So
Speaking
really,
of geek music.
it highlights the cyclical nature of human history, I think,
Yeah, and Jeopardy itself.
and Jeopardy. And we start right back where we started. We stop right back where we started. Did I say start where we started?
You've said a lot of things today, Alex.
Fuck, man. Anyway, something like that. That's
Something like
yeah,
that.
that's that version. Not bad.
Now, I have for this next pick, instead of just picking a random group that does 8-bit music, maybe look to one of the many Jeopardy video games and pulled some audio from there? Yes, I definitely could have. Did I? No.
No. Why would
We're talking 8-bit arcade.
we're not looking for official things here. This is 8-bit.
No, you're right. We had a good official run. This is exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah, there's not much else to say about it. I guess the one big thing about this version, well, I mean, everything is replaced with bleeps and bloops. Like it's 8-bit sounds.
Yeah.
Simple waves, waveforms. They
Mhm.
do one thing that this one I found highlighted is the sort of back and forth nature of the theme. So if you listen to it, it's kind of chord note, chord note, chord note, chord note, like pretty consistently until like the turnaround part.
Right.
But this one kind of puts everything on the same level. And that's what was playing before. So I mean, when they was on the piano, every other note had a chord played or change. And this one just made it more obvious.
Right.
The
so
way
it just
that
really
happened.
highlights it.
So it kind of like creates that like TikTok kind of feeling without having
Mhm.
the TikTok percussion.
Yeah.
This do so that I thought was kind of interesting. I don't think that is necessarily this version, like the fault of this version. It might just be the way the song is. Something we kind of didn't notice before. But the song kind of has that built-in kind of TikTok feeling to it.
Right, even without having an instrument to lay that down.
Yeah, and like in its game show version, kind of as a clock sound, but in its original conceptualization as a lullaby, kind of almost a hypnotic aspect to it, of just like calming and focus, kind of.
Hell yeah.
So that's kind of an interesting thing about this song.
Yeah, if you wanted to further strip down a very simple song, check out the 8-bit arcade. Alex, if you had to make a Jeopardy video game, but it couldn't just be straight up a video game where you play Jeopardy, what kind of what kind of Jeopardy video game would you make?
So wait, so it's called Jeopardy, but it's not.
Yeah,
a
and
Jeopardy
you have
game?
to use like Jeopardy licenses and stuff. Like you can include you have to include Alex Trebek in the game.
So like the concept is there.
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to flip something around, right? So Jeopardy is asking the answers and responding with the questions. So you'd have to take video game structure and you'd have to flip it around.
Okay.
So you'd have to like start by testing something and then teach you how to use it or something like that. I don't know exactly
That's high
how
concept,
it would work.
Alex.
Yeah, high concept.
I'm just gonna do a visual novel where you try to date Alex Trebek, but the dialogue is flipped.
The dialogue is flipped. So like, so he'll answer something and you have to like say what you asked. Wait.
Yeah, exactly.
That's much more concrete than my thing. I like that.
That's yeah. I thought of it because there was that KFC dating novel.
Oh right.
So it's just low budget, so anyone can do it, and then like boom, it works for any concept really.
Yeah.
Speaking of concept,
well, the final thing about the 8-bit version is that it like
Yeah.
very audibly loops. If you go to like 29 seconds to 30 seconds, it's very obviously like harsh cutoff and then just plays again.
Oh yeah, it doesn't even get to finish its last note.
Yeah, it just like whoop, and then into the next one. So why they decided it had to be a minute long, I don't know. Maybe it's something to do with Spotify. When did this? I have a 2018 year on it, so it could be. Spotify doesn't pay you unless you listen to 30 seconds. So I wonder if tracks are less than 30 seconds, that kind of fucks with that. So they wanted it to be twice as long or something.
Right.
I don't know.
That checks out. With that, we're going to talk about the 4 Bitchin' Babes.
Back in high school, you were square, carried books and slide rules everywhere. You scored straight A's year after year. They called you geek, they called you queer.
4 Bitchin' Babes.
In the year 1993.
This is I don't know if they're an a cappella group. They're definitely a musical group, a female musical group. They do
Wikipedia
comedy
listed
stuff.
them as being folk genre.
Folk.
So presumably it's not always a cappella, but this one
version
is.
But contrary to a lot of a cappella, it's not like just a ton of them making voice instrument sounds with their voices. They have added lyrics. In fact, the version is called "If the theme song from Final Jeopardy had lyrics, they might sound like this. ... 4 Bitchin' Babes."
That's right, 4 Bitchin' Babes. Founded by Christine Levin, who is a singer-songwriter, but I don't know from anything. So the lyrics in this are, back in high school, you were square. Carried books and slide rulers everywhere. You scored straight A's year after year. They called you geek. They called you queer. For everyone who laughed in your face, now is your chance to put them in their place, because you're on a TV show where your big brain earns big dough. Or is it wins big dough? It's wins.
I think it's wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one has a very like small room casual recording sound to it. Because at the start there's like some talking and someone's like, "Give me a note," and they're like, and then they start singing. So it has that going for it.
Lyrically, it has the tonally, it has that sound of like a taunting playground rhyme.
Yeah, I guess it does. A word of mouth spread thing.
Yeah,
definitely has that feeling to it. Of course, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, the actual lyrics themselves are very much like just a story about a kid who was picked on for being smart or a nerd or whatever, going on to kind of turn that around. It's like a vindication story as well. Like, it's a very quick, short story, but it kind of has the arc of like gives you the background, and then things change because the person grows up and goes on Jeopardy and wins money.
Yeah, that's really it. Did we need lyrics for Jeopardy? I don't know.
Yeah, this version, it's kind of like, it's casual enough, and like it doesn't really take itself serious or anything. Like, it's just supposed to be fun and humorous. So
yeah, it's
fun enough that it works fine, I think.
Yeah, it's like, hey, that's kind of cute.
Yeah,
nerds do go on Jeopardy. Yeah, I guess you're right. Like, yeah,
and it's like it's about the show, but it's kind of, the story is a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
It's about a person who could go on the show and like improve their place standing or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It's a classic tale of like leaving your hometown behind, and everyone who tormented you before doesn't have the advantages you have, and the things that you were tormented for in the past turn out to be an advantage in your life. You know, it's all it's cliches, but you've got 30 seconds, so you kind of have to use cliches.
Well, yeah, and they were kind enough to just do the 30 seconds and not. Well, it's 38 they've got, but it's fine. Some of that is preamble.
Yeah, the talking. Yeah, that's the other thing. They don't like do 6 verses or anything. It's just quick, like the original. So
yeah, so I think it's good in that regard.
it's a fun goof.
Yeah, and from a musical standpoint, basically I think there's 4 of them in the group, and they all trade off on lines until they get to the final line where you break brain wins big dough. They all sing that together, and then they do the bum bum as acapellas do.
Boom boom. Yeah.
Boom boom. Let's talk about Hanz William.
Hanz. So Hanz
William.
I searched. There's a Hanz with an S Williams. This is with a Z. But this is not the same guy.
Okay.
This guy is a guitar player. He only has this album on Spotify. He has a version of the James Bond theme on it, which we did not cover when we covered the James Bond theme way back. Way back when the new James Bond movie was supposed to come out, so we were thematically appropriate, and then it didn't.
Yeah, way to go, James Bond. You ruined
James
our fucking
Bond.
career.
We did a whole thing.
We dropped in listens after that month because of you.
And nothing to do with anything else related to
else.
viruses.
Certainly
just
not
to
the
say
quality
a random...
of our work.
Yeah, certainly nothing to do with the quality of our work. Entirely because of James Bond. So, also, just a quick note on that version of James Bond. It fades out.
And then it fades into this, the Jeopardy theme.
Is that the order?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, it does. And which, like, I mean, no spy chord at the end of the James Bond theme. Anyway, that offended me slightly.
That is foolish. And this is elevator music. We don't need to talk about this one for long. It's all guitar. Yeah. He does the guitar bits.
Yeah, it's like there's one guitar does chords and the other one does the melody. It's all like finger picking. Like it's not strumming really. It's kind of all in separate fingers, but like either one's doing chords and one's doing melody.
Yeah.
It's simple. It's not even the two halves don't even really change appreciably that I noticed.
No. It's pretty much exactly the same both times.
Yeah, which is why I spend most of this time talking about his version of the James Bond theme.
Well, yeah, gotta fit in that content somehow. With that, let's talk about rivals to TV theme band, the TV theme players.
Yeah, one of these groups wanted, I mean, I don't know who came first, but TV theme band seems more fundamental. This one was like, what if we call ourselves the TV theme band? And then it's like, fuck, it's taken.
Mm-hmm. So these guys also include the hype up intro.
Yeah, and also both 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
Yeah.
Could be the same group. Like, because these are, like, TV theme band and TV theme players, I assume are not, like, a band. They're, like, some sort of organization that releases these.
Sort of conglomerate? Yeah.
Like, I don't know what the business model is there.
Well, you release 47 different TV themes onto Spotify, and
maybe someone is like, oh, I remember these, and then listens to them, and you make 10 cents.
Yeah, you hope somebody accidentally hits play and then like falls down and can't get up, and they're like, oh, just gonna have to listen to this now.
Yeah, but this one, it has the hype up intro, but it starts with like this bass line, just like.
Yeah, it's very it's a very intense bass tone on there.
And then coming
just
with that
root notes,
like brassy synth.
Yeah, doing the climbing, and then you get the drums going.
So yeah,
They really
also
milk
pretty
it.
intense. It seems, is it long? I don't think it's longer than the other intro, but the intro always seems like a bit too long to me.
It's definitely too long.
It's like 30 seconds of just build up. So like,
yeah, this one's 33 seconds. We finally get to the actual thing.
and this time they've got a little more going on than some of the other versions. At least off the bat. Also, right off the bat, they just go hard.
Yeah.
They've got this like synth playing, and kind of like a funky guitar.
Yeah.
Yeah, like doing that like muted guitar thing where you pull off the strings to mute it.
Yeah.
And it's basically like it's two synthesizers, and it kind of goes back and forth between them. They got one that's like a higher, brighter one, like and then one that's like like two synths, and it basically just trades them back and forth.
Yeah, the only other like really exciting thing happens when they do the final turnaround section, and they really stretch out the time between notes and throw in these big drum rolls.
Oh yes, they do. It's very drawn out right at the end. I don't know if there's any. The bass actually, some like, because they alternate sections, right? So the other instruments change a bit too. The bass in like one of the two, it is the first synthesizer. The bass in that is like kind of more active and like a little bit more interesting. But this has the same problem as the other one in that it's like too long.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, and honestly, I liked this one at the start. Like this one was more interesting off the bat.
Yeah.
But it just, like they just wanted it to be 2:11 again.
Again, yeah, and it's just like it is too long for this.
Yeah.
Yeah, dog. That's all I have to say about this one. Should we talk about Piano Project?
Yes, we should.
So imagine somebody playing the Jeopardy theme, but on piano for 2 minutes. That's it.
Yeah, it is. It is weird. I looked at their description, and they say their popular songs covered on piano, but piano's capitalized for some reason. Don't understand why. And it also has the hype up intro. It's also 2 minutes long. The intro, I think, does like a decent job of like just being tension. It's like just let's play a tense chord repeatedly.
Yeah.
Ding 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 ding, and then.
Now, Alex, is it possible that when you watch an episode of Jeopardy, the TV series, that the intro theme song with the hype up bit lasts 2 minutes?
That seems too long, right?
That seems way too long.
Like, even the hype up bit being 30 seconds seems too long for TV.
Yeah, it seems crazy to me.
But why are all of these versions having it? Like, I guess we could have looked it up.
Hang on.
You'd have to watch Jeopardy.
I'm gonna recruit my friend Netflix.com to show me. Okay, hang on. It's very rare that I actually use Netflix on a computer. Okay, so this is from season 24, episode 1. They don't do that drum hype up, but there is like a hype up. Okay, here's the thing, Alex. Here's how it happens. They play it in the back while he introduces like the guests and stuff.
So there's other stuff going on. It's just background music.
Yeah.
Okay. Is it 30 seconds long?
I mean,
Because they all do the same specific length, so it must be, right?
Yeah. Hang on. If I jump to the 2 minute mark, no, they're into Jeopardy before 2 minutes has come up. We're talking like 45 seconds here.
It's a weirdly specific length of time that they all seem to be 33 seconds.
Yeah.
But
of course, like this is season 24 of Jeopardy. Maybe they tighten things up, and these guys are all doing earlier seasons of Jeopardy.
It's possible.
It's possible. But yeah, okay, you were talking about, you think you did a good build up with the piano.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like it's fine. Like it's the most interesting part of this, I think, because then the rest of it is just playing on the piano, and doesn't like switch it up, and they still do it for
very
over
boring.
2 minutes.
Yeah. So that's it. That's all the versions we're going to talk about today, official and covers. We got 3 categories today. The worst version, which is going to be hotly contested. The best version. And then the version that would play if you were to become the host of Jeopardy.
Oh, man.
Alex, what is the worst version of this?
The worst version. I think. I mean, there were some bad ones. There were some strange ones. There were some okay ones, I guess.
Yeah, there's some that just like don't exist.
Yeah,
'cause they're
probably the worst one was Piano Project, because not only was it like there was nothing there, and
Right, and it had
also
the audacity to be that long.
it was still 2 minutes long. And like even some of the other ones that were nothing, like what did Mount Royal Orchestra have to contribute to this conversation? Like nothing.
Oh, that shitty ending where they just fucking threw in some
That's
garbage
true.
noise.
That's true. At least that was just the end. But also, like, it's still 30 seconds. So, yeah. So, Piano Project. Of the 3 that were 2 minutes long, it's the worst, but not by much.
But not by much. That's fair, Alex. I wasn't really considering the time when thinking about the worst ones. Yeah. I thought, like, yeah, Piano Project sucks, but it's also it's just bland.
Right.
Like, if any of these took me for a ride where I was upset once I got off at the final stop, it was Mount Royal Orchestra. It was bad. It was a bad job.
Yeah.
They did bad.
It was not much, and then they were like, put this in.
Someone. Yeah, but then also, I don't like TV Theme Band. They did a really shitty job. I hated their synths. I hated the.
Also pretty long.
One.
Yeah, it was pretty grating synth.
So for me, yeah, it's gonna be TV Theme Band, the worst version. I'm locking that in. Final answer.
Supposed to have that weird clav thing.
Show. Yeah, that weird clav action. Alex, let's talk about the best version of this.
Which was the best version? This is tough.
This is a tough one.
This is tough. Which ones did I actually kind of like? I feel like it was almost the TV theme players, but I don't think they can take it, because there wasn't enough. They just kept going, and I think that loses it for them. And I'm trying to like judge all these, but I think at the end of the day, I just didn't like them all that much. They were mostly inoffensive, though.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I think I'll give it to Bitchin Babes, because, like, I don't know, it was a little something. It was fun. It's probably, I think the novelty will wear off soon, but for now, it's like, it's good time.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, similarly, I'm going to give it to 8-Bit Arcade, I guess. Cause,
yeah.
Hey, at least I get to think about video games while I'm listening to it.
True.
That's something.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, none of these are really good. They're no good. Well, for our final category, Alex, you've just gotten the call from Merv Griffin from Beyond the Grave. He says you need to be the next Alex to host Jeopardy. He says you get to pick your own version of the Think theme.
I'm like, hey, Merv, if you can call from Beyond the Grave, why can't Alex Trebek? And he's like, don't think about it too much.
Don't ask fucking questions. You don't want the answer.
Let's just say we're not in the same place. He says.
He says, and you say, listen, Merv.
Listen, Merv, I don't want to go anywhere where you are. No, I don't know.
So which version of this is your Jeopardy host theme?
Which is the Jeopardy host theme? Which is the Think theme that plays while people answer questions? I think it's gotta be It's gotta be cool and classy because it's probably the hardest version to think to. There's just so much going on. It just fills your brain with wrong answers and
Right, you're
makes the
starting the
game.
era of an aggressive Jeopardy.
Yeah, I
quiz.
want to make Jeopardy much more aggressive. I
Good
swear.
luck in Final Jeopardy.
Yeah, fuckers. I swear, and not just in outtakes.
Not just hell yeah, that's right. What's up, fuckers? Welcome to Jeopardy.
Yeah, that's the new update to Jeopardy. What if Jeopardy said fuck?
Alex Mildenberger for the gritty reboot of Jeopardy. For me, it's gonna be another one that I think would be hard to think to. The For Bitchin' Babes version. Mine's gonna be the sort of like ham-fisted effort they make. They pick a younger host and they're like, "What if we add a little levity to it with this fun version?"
This
of
fun
the Bitch
version
theme?"
from like the early 90s.
Yeah, and then we're canceled after like the first recording session. People in Jeopardy are just accidentally writing down like lyrics to the song because it's in their head while they're trying to write the final Jeopardy. And they're like, "I fucking hate this."
Like, why did you write down queer? And like, what? No.
No. It's supposed to be Alexander the Great.
Final Jeopardy.
That's-
Lose all your money.
Yeah, lose all your Jeopardy money, and then you look like a fool in front of just me now, which is, probably not that bad.
Yeah, they won't even air the episode. Just get canceled.
Exactly. So you know what? You had a good run. That's our final verdicts. If you got a similar opinion, different opinion, or want to talk about a different version of the Jeopardy theme, if you want to talk to us about the rock and roll Jeopardy theme, hit us up on Twitter. #cover.
If you want to talk to us about Jep,
Yep.
hit us up.
Hit us up.
Jep.
Jep. And #CoverMePod, @Jake the Cressy, @SomeAlexWiseGuy. You can also email us, covermepod@gmail.com. Send us your comments, questions, concerns. Rate and review us. We're on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon, I think. We're on a bunch of them. We're all over the place. Check us out there and rate us and shit. Tell your friends about us. We're going to jump into our bonus segment called Alex, if you could be on any game show, what would it be and why?
Okay, so I already mentioned that I would probably like choke in most quiz shows.
Right.
Anything. Jeopardy, no good. Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? Is that still on? I don't know. No good. What was that Deal or No Deal show? You didn't have to answer questions, but that was all just like probability.
Yeah, that was really just like you pick a briefcase
Yeah.
and then have a series of numbers thrown at you. And he's like, "Do you want to sell the briefcase for this much?" You're like, "Well, sure, I guess." Or like, "No deal. I want whatever number's in this briefcase."
Yeah, so I feel like that would probably be like my thing. Like, I would do something like that where I didn't really like. You kind of have to think, but like not too much. And it's really more like
Yeah.
I would get to like 10,000. I'd be like, "That's pretty good," and like just leave.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah, it's pretty good. Thanks.
I would be the most boring.
$10,000.
Yeah, I would be the most boring contestant. The other
Oh, yeah,
thing,
'cause,
the downside though, is Canadian game shows, and I don't know which game shows are Canadian. They tend to have smaller prizes. The upside being that tax is less on game
Right,
show
that's
winnings
fair.
in Canada. I remember there was a show on called You Bet Your Ass. And they were like, "You're going to win $2,000 tax free." And I was like, "Hey, that's not $1 million."
It's not, but you know what?
But they were
Comes out
also
to
like
about the
proudly
same.
Canadian. So that's cool. Pretty sure the host was
Hell
the
yeah.
guy on Cash Cab.
Cash Cab. Hey, that makes sense.
Because he's
Um,
Canadian.
He's Canadian.
Canadian
Yeah. What I was
version.
gonna say about Deal or No Deal, the other tricky thing is, as a participant on these shows where really you do fuck all, is that generally you have to have some sob story to be on there, right?
Yes. I don't have one of those either.
That would I can't. I just imagine them like asking you questions. You're like, "Oh, I don't know, like I just kind of I go to work
Yeah.
and stuff."
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's this pandemic going on, so just kind of hanging out.
You're
They'd be like,
"I'm just
"So
looking for
you're
things to do."
into music?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I guess."
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
I
It's
have
pretty
a
good.
Spotify subscription.
I
That's
listen,
my family
listen to
does.
music sometimes. Sometimes I forget to listen to music for several weeks. I'm like, fuck, I didn't listen to anything. That's weird.
That is weird.
I don't know how it happens.
So yeah, that would be your great struggle on Deal or No Deal. You already mentioned
Banter.
it, but I think banter. They'd be like, this guy's the worst. It's like talking to a brick wall.
And he left with like $10,000. What? Why did he even come on the show? Who vetted this guy?
Oh man. Oh, what a good time that would be. I would pay good money. I would pay literal dollars to see that episode of Deal or No Deal.
Multiple dollars. I don't even know if that's still on.
I don't know. I don't think Howie Mandel's doing that. He does a different show now. He's on America's Got Talent.
That's true. No time for Deal or
yeah.
No Deal.
No time for that. But yeah, you mentioned Cash Cab. I think that would just be fun to be on regardless of whether you win or not.
Because you're just like, you're in a cab and there's lights on the
Yes.
ceiling.
Such an interruption to whatever you were about to do. And I just like that it could be wildly inconvenient. And I think I would enjoy that.
Also, like, I don't know how popular it was, but like, I'd recognize the host, you know? So, like, you always watch that and you, like, they get in and he's like, where do you want to go? And I'd be immediately like, hey, I recognize you from the TV. But, you know, people probably, they're probably not that popular. I don't even know if Cash Cab is on anymore.
And then, like, continue to get in, or would you be like, duh, no, sorry, I gotta get the next one?
I mean, it can't hurt. Like, I'm pretty sure it's a free cab ride, if nothing else.
Yeah, it is that.
So, I mean, the downside is you have to go to Toronto. Zing! Take that, Toronto.
Take that, Big T, as we call it here. That's what we think about game shows. If you want to tell us what game show you think you'd do great on, hashtag game show. That's that.
Yep.
Thanks for tuning in. That's been the episode, and as we always say on Cover Me,
welcome to Jeopardy.
That's
Is that what they say on Jeopardy?
Welcome to Cover Me. Hang on, let me check. Let me Google Jeopardy catchphrases real quick. I should have done this beforehand. I didn't think there would be catchphrase. Jeopardy catchphrase. Here we go. Oh, hang on. Here we go. And this is our champion, Cover Me, a podcast from Canada.